Hi guys, this is Vineet and I welcome you to this video. Today's video topic is doing file and file group restores over the existing files in SQL Server. Before I proceed ahead, I would request you guys to please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. There's a subscribe button coming below this video. Click on that subscribe button. It will give you a bell icon. Click on that bell icon, select all notifications to get notifications regarding my future and upcoming videos. The reason I'm asking you to subscribe is because you will also get the related videos related to this particular topic or whatever videos are posted on my channel. There are around more than 300 videos posted on my channel, and once you subscribe to my channel, it will start recommending you videos from my channel, and that will help you in your future journey with SQL Server. So it's highly beneficial for you to subscribe to my channel. So let me give you 5 seconds. Please go ahead and subscribe right away. So guys, I hope you must have subscribed by now, so we can move ahead. So let me take you quickly to notes for today's topic that I'm covering. So today's topic is restoring of files and file groups over the existing files in SQL Server. So basically, first let me describe you. There are some files associated with every database in SQL Server. So one category of files are the database files, which includes the primary data file and the secondary data file. And each file belongs to a particular work group, either primary or any secondary work groups. And lastly, we have log data files with the extension LDF. The extension for primary data files is MDF, and for secondary data files, it's NDF. So let's quickly check what all files are associated with my sample database. So here the AdventureWorks database 2022 I'm checking. So go to the properties of this database and we will see how many files are associated with this database. So with the left hand side in the database properties dialog box, you will find the category files. Click on that and expand the box. And this over the right hand side, it will list out the files associated with SQL Server. So far we have two files associated with SQL Server. One is the primary data file and the second is log file. And the primary data file is associated with the primary file group, and this is the file name AdventureWorks 2022 MDF, and one log file is also associated with this database. So there are two files in total that are associated with the database. We can also add any secondary files over here, so that can also be done. So it is trying to add the third file. So let me remove it for now. I don't want to add any file. So when you add file, you can add it to a particular file group. So far we only have two file groups, and we can also create new file groups as well if we want. But right now I don't want to add any additional files. But yeah, you can have more than one files associated with the database, and you can create particular tables, etc. on particular data file. All right, so I think this concept is clear. So now let me take you back to a topic, which is restoring files and file groups over the existing files. So in our case, we have two files as the existing files. And in this video, we will describe how to restore files and file groups over the existing files in SQL Server. Okay, and we use the SQL Server Management Studio and Transact-SQL to do that. There are some limitations and restrictions associated whenever you're restoring files and file groups. So let me take you through these limitations and restrictions. So first limitation and restriction is that the system administrator who is restoring the files and file groups must be the only person using the database to be restored. So for that, your database can be put into a single user mode. So if you want to know how to put the database in single user mode, you can right click on it, and there's an option to put the database in single user mode. So there is a task through which there's a task category if you right click on a database, and this must list out the option where you can put either you can take it offline as well if you want, but yeah, you can put it into a single user mode as well. So let me see how you can do that. This property should be available under the properties dialog box, where you can put the database into multi-user or single-user mode. So let me check the sections to see if we have any such category. So I'm checking the options here under the database properties. So if you scroll down over here, over the bottom, you see there is a restrict access option. So if you want to put the database into the single user mode, you can do it from here. Otherwise, you can put the third mode as well, restricted user, where you can restrict database to a particular user only. So for this purpose, if you are restoring files and file groups, you need to put the database into single user mode only so that administrator can connect to it. So once you put the database into single user mode, you can see the single user keyword appended to the database. After your work is done, you can change back the mode of the database to multi-user via the options category. So again, you can come to the same section and make it multi-user so that multiple users can connect to your database. Right, so it is in multi-user mode right now. Let me take you back. So while doing the file and file groups restore, the system administrator who is restoring the files and file groups must be the only person using the database. For that, you need to put the database into the single user mode or the restricted user mode. And restore is basically not allowed in an explicit or implicit transaction. And under the full or birth log recovery model, before you can restore files, you must back up the active transaction log known as the tail of the log. So right now, let me see what is the database recovery model for my database. Earlier it was set to full recovery model. So yeah, we can see the recovery model is currently set to full. So let's leave it like this for now. If we have to change it to a simple recovery model, we will do that later. But yeah, it is saying if you are using the full or bulk log recovery model, you need to take the tail of the log backup or active transaction log backup. And next point is that to restore a database that is encrypted, you must have access to a certificate or the asymmetric key that was used to encrypt the database. And without this certificate or asymmetric key, your database cannot be restored. Now let's talk on some of the security permissions associated with doing this restore operation. Now, if your database that is being restored does not exist, so in case your files and database does not exist at all and you are trying to restore your files from the backup, and for that you need the user that is doing the restore operation must have the create database permission to be able to execute the restore. And in case the database exists or database files exist, restore permissions default to the member of sysadmin and db creator fixed server roles. All right, so db creator can restore the database or sysadmin can restore the database in case the database exists. Otherwise, if it doesn't exist at all or files are not there, then yeah, the user who is doing the restore should have a create database permission. But if the files are there, yeah, sysadmin, db creator, and the roles of the owner db of the database can do this operation. Now, restore permissions are given to roles in which membership information is always readily available to the server. Because fixed database role membership can be checked only when the database is accessible and undamaged. So you can give permission to certain roles which you want to use in future for doing certain restores. Because in the case your database is damaged or inaccessible, your fixed database role membership can be checked only when your database is accessible and undamaged, otherwise not. So that's the reason you should give restore permission to certain roles that are always readily available on the server to perform the restore operation, which is all right. Let's ignore this statement, which is not always the case when restore is executed, because this is in context to this statement. It is saying that your fixed database role membership can be checked only when the database is accessible and undamaged, and which is not always the case when the restore is executed. Member of the DB owner fixed database role do not have the restore permissions. And let me take you through two of the demos. First one is restoring files and file groups over existing files using the SQL Server Management Studio, and the second one is doing the same operation via the T-SQL statement. So let me take you to SQL Server quickly, and give me a minute, guys, over here. So we will go through demos. Just give me a moment. All right, so let's talk about the SQL Server Management Studio. Here we will try to restore the files and file groups over the existing files. So we have checked, and we had shown you earlier that AdventureWorks 2022 database has two files associated with it. The first one is the AdventureWorks 2022 MDF, which is a primary data file, and second one is the AdventureWorks 2022 log.ldf, which is the log data file. Now, to restore files and file groups over existing files, in the Object Explorer, which is coming on the left hand side, connect to the instance of the SQL Server database engine. And we are already connected to the local instance, and we have expanded that instance. Database is also expanded, and we need to right click on the database, in our case AdventureWorks 2022, and you need to point to task after that, and after task you need to point to restore, and then we can click on files and file groups. So again, let me show you. So if you right click on the database, go to task, under the restore, there are several options. You can restore a database which we had used in our earlier videos. You can also restore files and file groups. The other option is you can restore pages as well. So let me select the restore files and file groups option. All right, so it will open up a restore files and file groups dialog box basically, and let me describe some of the properties over here. And we are on the general page right now. So on the general page, in the to database list box, this is the to database list box, if you see over here. So it is saying select the type name of new or existing database that you want for your restore operation. So in the to database list box, enter the database to restore. So here we will select a database that we want to restore. In our case, we want to restore the AdventureWorks 2022 database. We can enter a new database name or choose an existing database over here. We can also enter a new database name in case we want to create a new database from the backup, or otherwise we can choose the existing database from the drop-down list. And this list includes all the databases on the server, excluding the system databases, master and tempdb. All right, otherwise model and msdb are given, but yeah, master and tempdb, it does not list those databases. And to specify the source and location of the backup sets to restore, click one of the following options. So at the bottom section, this is basically referring to the first one is the destination to restore, which is AdventureWorks 2022 database. Second one is the source for restore. Now, one of the restore sources, the database. If you want to restore it from a particular database, so you can enter a database name over here, and this list will only contain the databases that have been backed up according to the MSDB backup history. So we had taken the backup of AdventureWorks 2022 earlier. We can restore from that. So if we select that, it is showing us various database backups that we had taken. So we had taken full database backup, differential database backup. We have also again taken the full and differential database backup, and we have transaction log backup as well. So it shows us the start date and finish date. So earlier we had taken a full database backup on 9th and a differential database backup on 9th. Otherwise, we also have a full database and differential database backups available on 10th, and also a transaction log backup as well, which have a 0 KB size because there were no transactions. The transaction log, which is empty. So no need to restore the transaction log backup because it is empty. Now the first option was the database through which we can restore. The second option is if we have a database file, we can specify that as well. In that case, we need to specify the from device option, and we need to click on the browse button over here. All right, and here we have selected file as the source. Other is we can restore it from a URL as well, or S3 URL, which is on Azure or Amazon AWS URLs through which we want to restore. Now we can select file as the backup media through which we want to restore. We can do that, and we can specify the backup devices from this drop down, and select one of the listed device types in the backup media type list box, and let's select file for now and click on add button, right? It opens up the backup folder where all the backups are aggregated. Let's select the database backup file. So earlier that day we were taking that full RM backup. Uh, we can take this as well. It is not showing us the dates. I think this is the one we had taken with the dates. It was on 10th. This is the latest backup we have. We had taken the full differential and log backup. So there are 3 files in there. Our 3 backup sets are in there. All right. So let's select that file, and when we click on OK, it will list out the backups available under this file. All right. So this particular file has full backup, the differential backup, and the transaction log backup. All right. And these were taken on this particular dates, right? Now this is a grid. Select the backup set to restore grid. It basically lets you select which backups you want to restore. So we have full differential and transaction log backup. So in the select the backup sets to restore grid, select the backups to restore, and this grid basically displays the backups available for the specified location. And by default, the recovery plan is suggested, right? And to override the suggested recovery plan, you can change the selections in the grid. Any backup that depend upon the deselected backup are deselected automatically. So in our case, let's do a file restore. If we are doing a full restore, it is automatically restoring the transaction log. And we can also do differential restore as well. We can uncheck the log if in case we don't want to restore the log backup. Now there's a column headers. Let me discuss about that. So restore basically column lets you select the checkboxes that indicate backup sets to be restored. Name specifies the name of the backup set. We had not given the name to the backup set, so while taking the backup, so the names are not being displayed here. File type basically specifies the type of data in file backup, whether it's data or log. It's not indicating data as well, or file stream data. Data that is contained in tables is in data files. Transaction log data is in the log files. Blob data that is stored on the file system is in file stream data files. Next is the type, which indicates the type of backup performed, full differential or the transaction log. Next is the server section basically, which basically lists out the name of the database engine that performed the backup operation, and we have logical file name over here under this column, which indicates logical name of the file, and we have database after that, which shows the name of the database involved in the backup operation. We have start date of the backup, we have end date of the backup, right? So start date indicates the date and time when the backup operation began, presented in the regional setting of the client, and the finish date basically shows the date and time when the backup operation was finished, presented in the regional setting of the client. And size is the size of the database. In our case, log has a size of, we had taken the active transaction log backup, which was the tail of the log backup, and that can be applied last. After we can apply the full and differential backup, we can apply the transaction log backup as well. So let's move ahead. We are done with the size column, which indicates the size of the backup set in bytes, and next is the username, the name of the user who performed the backup operation. In case I had performed the backup operation, it is showing my name as, that's why it's showing up my name over there. All right, so the settings are done. Now in the select pane, click the, let me unselect all of them. So in the select a page pane, click the options page. So on the left hand side, you can select options as well. So for that, you need to select a restore source as well. So let me check full database backup for now, and let's go to options. Now it is giving me the options on the options page in the restore options panel, which is this panel. We have the options to override the existing database with is basically equivalent to with replace options in the Transact-SQL, right? The restore, if we chose this option with replace, the restore operation overrides any existing database and their related files. If we want to overwrite with any overwrite any existing files, we can choose the with replace operation, even if another database or file already exists with the same name. So in our case, if you our database still exists and files are exist in the background, so what we need to do is we need to select this particular option, and after that you can click on the OK if you want to restore the files. So in our case, if we just check the full over here, it will just restore the primary data file, all right, and the transaction associated with it. We can also choose this option, full and differential, and if we want to restore all of the data and log files, we can check all of these three options. And also you need to make sure if you want to replace file with replace option should be checked. Now there are certain recovery states as well which we are not discussing right now, all right. So by default it is restore with recoveries, which basically makes your database online by rolling back any uncommitted transactions. In this case, that additional transaction logs cannot be restored. Now I'm not using the SSMS to restore these database files. So let me show you Transact-SQL way to do the stuff that you can do by clicking OK. Your files will get overwritten. That is quite easy, but I don't want to use SSMS Studio to perform this operation. Instead, let's try Transact-SQL, where I will write in some code to show you how you can overwrite the existing files. Now to restore the files and file groups over existing files, you can execute the restore database statements to restore the files and file group backup, specifying the name of the database to restore, the backup device from where the full database backup will be restored, and the file clause for each file to be restored, the file group clause for each file groups to restore, and the replace option to specify that each file can be restored over the existing files of the same name and location. And there's a word of caution: use the replace option very cautiously, because it will overwrite any existing files. And we will use the no recovery option as well if the files have not been modified after the backup was created. And we will finally specify the recovery clause. Now, if the files have been modified after the backup was created, execute the restore log statement to apply any transaction log backups, specifying the name of the database to which the transaction log will be applied, the backup device from which the transaction log backup will be restored, the no recovery clause if you have another transaction log backup to apply after the current one, otherwise specify the recovery clause. The transaction log backups, if applied, must cover the time when the files and file groups were backed up. Alright guys, I have triggered a new query. So what I will do, I will try to take the backup of the AdventureWorks database first. So this database I'm trying to back up. So you can write the code along with me. So in order to back up a database, you issued the statement backup database and the name of the database, which is AdventureWorks. We are taking the full backup here. So AdventureWorks 2022. And we are saving the backup to a disk file. Let's provide the default location of SQL Server where it keeps the database backup. So this is the default location which we had opened earlier. So this is the location. Let's name this file AdventureWorks works 2022 backup. Let's name this file this with the back extension. So this is the backup we are taking right now, and let's take this backup, which will be the database backup, not the log file backup. So let's execute this statement. So a backup is done, which is this file containing the full database backup as of now, which is under the backup set 1. Now let's take another backup into the same file, so which will be a log backup. So let me take the backup of the log file for AdventureWorks 2022 database. Let's use the same file for the backup, and this will be backup set 2. If I'm taking another backup into the same file, it will become backup set 2. So let's execute this statement. So it has taken the log backup now, and if you want to check how many backups are in there in the file, so you can use this keyword restore header only, and you can specify the from disk clause, and you can specify the name of the file to basically restore the what all backups are in there inside this particular file. So we can check that. If we execute this statement, you will see we have two backups, right? And one is the database backup and one is the log backup. So this is backup type 1 and backup type 2, and this is the position which is basically refers to backup set 1 and backup set 2. The first backup set is the log backup, and another one is the first backup set is the database backup, and second one is the log backup. So up till this point, I think it is clear to you. Now let me execute another set of statements. So at this point, if we want to do a restore, at this point, we want to do a restore from the backup taken. And what we will do, we will restore what was the topic for today. So let me check on that. So we will restore and restore files and file groups over the existing files. So we will replace the existing files. So restore and replace the existing files. And it is only the database files that can be replaced, and not the log files. So we can replace only the database files and file groups, but not the log files. Log files we just apply. We don't just replace the log files, but we just apply the restore the log file backups. So in our case, our database is using the full recovery model. Let me show you quickly. So if you go into properties of my database and expand this box, and if you go under options, you see that we are using the full recovery model for this database. So in case you are using the full recovery model and not the simple recovery model, you need to take the tail log backup every time you are doing a restoration operation. So let's take a tail log backup. So in order to take a tail log backup, you specify backup log along with the database name, which is AdventureWorks, right? So specify that, and we are taking it to a disk. You can copy the same statement because we are using the same file, and this will be a backup set 3. And while taking the tail log backup, you specify the keyword with no recovery, because we have to do a restore operation. So just after taking the backup, immediately we put the database to no recovery mode. So let's take the backup. All right, let's execute it. So it is saying the backup is in use. So what we can do is do here is we can use the master database here, so that to come out of this database. So we can specify the keyword master and put go after that, and we can execute this statement. All right. So this is executed now, and if we refresh the database here, you will see that it is in restoring mode, and it is not available right now. If you try to expand the database, it is not available, right? Because we have put it into the no recovery mode, and we have taken the tail log backup here, right? As mentioned in my comment over here, we have taken the tail log backup, and at this point we can check the file as well if you want. So you can execute these two lines of code to see how many backups are in there. So we have 3 backups. So first one is the database file backup, which is at position 1 or backup set 1. Second is the log backup, which is at position 2 as well. And third one is the tail log backup, which is at position 3. So we this file contains 3 backups. This particular file contains the 3 backups. So one is the database file backup, 2 are the log backups. One is the normal log backup, one is the tail log backup. Now, as we have taken the tail log backup, the next step would be to restore uh, and replace the files and file groups. Here we are doing the replace operation as well, so keep this in mind. We are replacing the existing file, and this can be done only for the database files. So we are restoring and replacing the files and file groups for database. Database name is AdventureWorks 2022. So let's mention that. So let's do that. So in order to restore the database, you need to do the restore database operation. and need to specify the name of the database, which is AdventureWorks 2022. You can specify that. And after that, you need to specify the from disk clause. You can take this, copy this statement to indicate the file from where we have to restore the database files. And after that, we will specify the name of the file we want to uh, replace. So this is the logical file name. Basically, if you the logical file name for the AdventureWorks 2022 database, particularly the database file is same as this. It's AdventureWorks 2022 MDF. So we will specify the file name as same, which is AdventureWorks 2022. This is the logical file name for this database, and we have specified this clause. And after that, we can specify the comma after that. So let's specify the comma after that. All right, and after that, you can specify the file group, which is the primary file group. All right, I don't know why it is giving me the error over here. So the from disk clause will come at the end, right? So we are restoring the database AdventureWorks 2022. We are restoring the file AdventureWorks 2022, which is a data file, and we are restoring and replacing basically file and file group. The file name is this, and file group is this, and we are restoring it from disk, and we are restoring it with no recovery. We don't want to recover the database yet, and we are using the replace clause in order to indicate that we are in fact replacing the existing files that are there within the database. We are replacing the database file basically. So let's perform this operation to basically replace the database file. So let's execute this statement. So our database file is restore and replace, right? In this particular file, AdventureWorks 2022. After that, what we'll do, we will apply the first transaction log backup, because our file has if we check this if we run this statement, we have 3 backups inside our file. So first one is done, second one is the log file backup, third one is also a log file backup under the backup set 2 and 3. So we will specify that during the restore which backup set we want to restore. So we are restoring the log file this time, and this time we will not use the replace keyword, because during the restoration of the log we don't use the replace keyword. So let's use the name of the database, which is AdventureWorks 2022. We are restoring the log file. We don't need to specify the name of the log file here, nor the file group, because the log file does not have any file group. And file name is there, the logical file name is there for the log file, but you don't need to mention it. It will take it explicitly. So yeah, but otherwise, if you want to specify the name of the log file, it's AdventureWorks 2022 underscore log is the logical file name of the AdventureWorks 2000 database log file. Now, issue the statement restore log AdventureWorks 2022, and we can specify with file equal to 2 clause. Just let me verify that that is correct. Yeah, with file 2 to basically indicate that we are restoring the log file backup set 2 at position 2. We need to specify this clause with file 2. All right, and let me continue from here. Just give me a moment. All right, so we are restoring a log file with file 2, but here as well we don't want to completely restore the database. So this is another option with file equal to 2, and you can specify no recovery over here. This is the clause. We don't want to recover the database here. So let's execute this statement to restore the first log file, right? First transaction log backup. Let's execute the statement. So it is saying that it does not support this. Let me see why. Give me a minute, guys. Okay, guys, the syntax is little bit incorrect. So after restore AdventureWorks 2022, you need to specify the file from where you want to restore. So this is the file you should choose. And next you need to specify the options with which backup set you want to restore. So here we are restoring the backup set 2, which is the log file backup, first log file backup or first transaction log backup. And we are using the keyword no recovery, so not to recover the database yet. So let me execute this statement. Execute it. So it restored our first log transaction log backup. Now let's apply the last transaction log backup here. So let's copy the above statement, but we need to do little modification. So the last log file backup is in backup file set 3. So we specify file equal to 3 to restore the tail log backup basically. And this time we will recover the database. So we can specify the recovery option. So with file equal to 3 and recover the database. So let's execute this statement because our database is not recovered yet. If you refresh the database, it is not recovered yet. So once we execute this last set of statements, it will recover our database completely. So let's execute this statement. So now our database is recovered. If we refresh the database, you will see that it is available now. So restoring option is removed now. So it is available and we can check out the tables of the database. So guys, I hope you like this video and you understand the concept of restoring and replacing the database files while doing the restore operations, right? And only database files and file groups can be restored. Otherwise, log file backups need to be applied. We have to apply each and every transaction log backup. So I hope you like this video and let me know in case you need the code of this operation and maybe if you need the notes of this discussion we have discussed today. So if you, in case you need the notes or the code, you need to send me an email and there will be a nominal fee charge for that in case you need the notes or the code. And you can let me know about that and I can share the code with you and also the notes as well. So send me an email regarding that. I will share information on that shortly. So I hope you like this video guys. In case you like this video, please click on the like button. And if you are new to this channel and have not yet subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do so. There's a subscribe button coming below this video. Click on that subscribe button. It will give you a bell icon. Click on that bell icon, select all notifications to get notifications on my future and upcoming videos. And even if you want recommendations from my channel, recommendation for more videos, etc., you should be subscribed to my channel, and that will make it easier for you to get the notifications or display of the videos from my channel on your YouTube homepage, so that you can enhance your knowledge on SQL Server. So let me give you 5 seconds, guys. Please go ahead and subscribe. There's a subscribe button below this video. Click on that and follow the instruction. And make sure you turn on all the notifications to get notifications for each and every video that I post on my channel. So guys, I hope you should have subscribed by now. If yes, then it's really great. So let me move ahead. So this is my email address given on the left hand side of this slide, which is vermavane@gmail.com. And you can send me an email regarding the following stuff. In case you need a copy of the notes or in case you need the code which is used during the practical, you can send me an email mentioning that whether you need notes, whether you need code, or whether you need both of them. So there is a nominal fee to be paid in case you want a copy of the notes or if in case you need the script or code to be provided for the practical. You can send me an email. I will send you the link to download the notes and code respectively, from where you can download the notes and by paying the nominal fee. And in case you want to schedule one-to-one calls with me, either a 30 minutes call or a 1 hour call, you can do so. This will be a paid call. And in case you want to do SQL consultations, you can do that. So send me an email and there will be a fee charge for every item. So SQL consultation is also paid, and SQL troubleshooting, if you want me to get involved in some SQL troubleshooting, then yeah, that will be paid on an hourly basis. I will try to troubleshoot your SQL stuff. And in case you want me to analyze your T-SQL code, in case you are preparing any projects or building any projects, and if you are feeling difficulty in the analysis of code or if you're getting any errors, do let me know via the email, and this will also be a paid option. And in case you want to collaborate with me for any content creation or any brand promotion, you want to contact me regarding brand promotion, you can do that. So by sending me an email, yeah, I will get back to you. Thank you so much for your time on this video today, guys, and you have a wonderful day ahead.